for the 1991 Goldpin Coca Cola Classic. We're into Game 3 of the stepladder final. Jamie Gore against Carl Bottomley. Jamie Gore beat Tony McFarlane 245-199 in round 1. Then Ashley Ablett in round 2. And in Game 2 of the stepladder final, Billy Gardner 224-216. A great match, looking for a great start here. Yes! And he was in hot form in Game 2 of the stepladder final. My co-commentators, Jeanette Baker and Terry Wenband, and what a great start, Jeanette.
That's an awesome start from Jamie. He's in the position where he's moving up the stepladder. He's got nothing to lose. He's got an incoming player who's been seated higher than him, so he can go out and attack right from the very beginning.
This is Carl Bottomley. In round 1, he beat Alan Atkins. In round 2, Sharon McLeish. His first ball. Not quite the desired result there.
Bit of a grudge match here, Jeanette, between Jamie. They're both roughly the same age, come out of juniors. I'm sure Carl's the bigger gun, so to speak, up here in Queensland. It'd be lovely for him to knock him off.
Well, for Jamie, it'd be a big plus for him. You know, he's been playing against Carl, obviously, and Carl has been such a strong competitor here in Brisbane for so long. He's been an outstanding junior in the ranks, come through into seniors and been one of the dominant forces here in Brisbane.
Closes up that frame.
Once again, seeing the straight shot at the spares, not leaving anything to take. Carl just straight up through the ball, no turn, hardly any whatsoever, we should say, and then covers the spare really easy. Down the middle of the lane where he knows the area of the lane, not covering too many boards.
Carl Bottomley, 22 years of age, from Bulimba. In 1991, he's won the Cool Foam Classic, the Milton Grand Slam, and finished second in the Strathpine Open. World Youth Masters champion in 88. See what he can do. Coming around, yes. And this man is a powerful bowler as well, and if he gets onto a line, we could be in for another classic encounter, as Jamie Gore was involved in his previous match.
Well, we saw in a previous match a couple of years ago when Carl got out to a 266 pace. He can do it again. Right now he's shooting 290. He loves to strike, and the pressure's all on James, but he has got a strike going.
Whoa. A little bit like that time by Jamie on the left-hand lane, leaving the 2-5. Of course, he's got those two fingers taped up because of the stitches in the back of his hand, but just a little bit too light. Lucky to get the 4-pin out of there, leaving the 2 pins left on the lane.
A work injury for the young man, 21 years of age, from Mermaid Waters on the Gold Coast.
Whoa, it's wide. Oh. Now, that is a costly error at this stage of the game against Carl. He's won, being a seasoned competitor, that will just absolutely nail on that. Gave it too much room, out to the right, and chopping.
Well, that was the spare he had to pick up to beat Billy Gardner, and he safely picked it up that time, but this time he's just thrown it wide, and Carl's got a strike up. He's got to get one now and try and make it look good.
Ooh, high through the nose. This is where the test of mettle will come in for the two guys. You've got a seasoned competitor. Jamie's come through each round, taking it one shot at a time. And I think after the game he bowled against Billy last time, he's looking and saying, well, you know, I've got a chance to really score here and be a threat to Carl Bottomley.
Definitely. I think James here, if he can get his straps, he'll get going, he can get this match. Great spare.
Great cover. Perfect coverage on that baby split on the right-hand lane by Jamie Gore.
And remembering that Jamie Gore qualified for this tournament, he was not an invited bowler. He came through the qualifying at Richlands Bowl. He got a 300 game during that, so his confidence is up. It was on this pairing that he bowled that, and he finished on top in the state final. Has done a tremendous job to get this far, and has done his centre proud down the Gold Coast. Let's see what Carl Bottomley can do here.
Whoa! Waiting for it to come back, and it's just not coming back. It seems, just judging by the change of equipment that Carl's used as the tournament has progressed, there's obviously a little bit more oil on the lanes because he's gone to an even softer ball again. And
Terry, he looked like he bowled that a lot slower.
Well, Carl's bowling a lot slower. He bowls a lot slower than, say, Andrew Drew or Billy Gardner. He throws more wrist into the ball and really just lifts the ball out there.
Well taken out that spare. Always difficult with the sleeper. We watch the execution again.
Straight onto that front pin and allowing for the deflection and take the back pin.
We'll take a break here on Nine's Wide World of Sport. Carl Bottomley leading Jamie Gore by 12 pins. Back with more in a moment.
The question is often asked, how do new players compete with experienced bowlers in regular competition? The structure in bowling is like golf. The better you are, the lower you have your handicap. So therefore, if you've never played before and you join a regular competition, you have a handicap system which helps you play against the experienced bowler.
There's the trophy. The Goldpin Coca Cola Classic winner of 1991 will take home along with $5,000 cash, and he'll be off to Las Vegas to compete in the high roller tournament over there. Two youngsters involved in this match are Carl Bottomley, a 22-year-old Clark from Bulimba in Brisbane. He's up against Gold Coaster Jamie Gore, 21 years of age. Now let's see what Bottomley can do.
Respondez-vous. Comes back with the action. He just sent that ball out, trusted the ball, using heaps of line, heaps of wrist, sends it out, and back it comes. And the 8 pin, the last pin to fall off the deck. There it is, just pure force, wrist action, leverage, and clears the deck.
Jamie Gore now, the Gold Coast Masters champion.
Ooh.
1991.
That was looking good all the way down, but just a tad high. Not getting the desired reaction from the 2 pin and leaving the 4 pin left. As we look at it, down, straight down the middle, high, and the 2 pin going behind the 4 pin and leaving the single pin for the spare.
Jamie Gore now looking to close this frame. Does so.
Not a problem.
Turned around immediately. He let that ball go. He knew that was on target.
Well, some of these guys practice a lot, and especially spare shooting, the emphasis has been that strikes aren't going to be necessarily enough to win tournaments these days, so they've got to work just as hard on their spares as they do their strike shot. And the key factor of the whole thing is being consistent all the way through. Jamie doesn't vary his shot when he goes for the spares, as do the stronger power bowlers.
He's representing the Gold Coast Super Bowl.
Ooh, wait for it.
Yes! That is the luck of this game, and doing the Gold Coast Super Bowl crowd at the moment.
Absolutely. He actually lost that shot beside his foot. It fell off, and therefore it went through the beak, and he got the reaction, and wow, comes back with a strike.
And the Super Bowl, of course, is one of a number of gold pin centres throughout Queensland that promote the game in Queensland and in Australia through tournaments like this and tournaments within their centres. Let's wait for Carl Bottomley, representing Cannon Hill Super Bowl.
Oh! He's been light on that lane a couple of times, and it's as if he sort of wanted to play the same line, Terry, only just give it a little bit more wrist, and it just stayed out there.
Well, that's the problem with the turners of the ball. If they just send it out a bit too wide and they don't get it to come back, they can leave some terrible messes. We saw Billy cut the heart out of it before, taking the 3 out, leaving the 1-6. The 6 pin just falls over, and Carl's got a difficult spare.
Ooh. Coming from the right angle, from the left-hand side to get the necessary deflection, but only taking 2 on that count, which has really opened it up for Jamie.
Well, Jamie's just taken a 1-pin lead if he spares and just closes the next frame. But as we've seen in all the matches before, you can be a bit shaky at the start, and if you come home strong, that's where it all counts. It's the last 3 or 4 frames that's really making the difference in these matches.
There's Carl's fiancée. Tense look up at the scoreboard. And Jamie Gore proving a tough opponent, as Billy Gardner found out in Game 2 of the Stepladder final.
Ooh. Calling for the ball to sit. He knew it was going to take off if it didn't stay out that little bit further. And in consequence, back through the nose and leaving that spare on the right-hand side. And the tough part about this spare to shoot is the back pin, is the sleeper pin, as we see why it was left. And that is the ball just got to the head pin and died. Shoulder a little bit too far forward, perhaps, on the release that time, and giving him the spare. Yes, covers it.
Well executed. Was that the perfect way to do it?
Well, you've got to cover that pin at the back, and sometimes by covering the pin at the back, you're going to take the risk of not taking out the 10 pin. But because these guys go so hard and so straight at it, as we see here, we see the ball take the cluster of 3 and the deflection of the 6 pin back to take that 10 pin.
He was relieved because he was coming off an open frame. Now let's see what Jamie Gore can do.
Whoa.
Looked all right from the moment it left his hand.
That is a great answer back. He is absolutely wound up. He's just playing his own game. He's just driving it down the line as he has all the way through the tournament. And away they go. Yes, he says. Very simple. Good extension. Solid release. gets the 4-pin out this time and gives him the double.
And the crowd appreciating the effort of Jamie Gore. He's turned it around. He now leads Carl Bottomley by 10 pins. Back with more in a moment. 3 of the Stepladder final in the 1991 Goldpin Coca Cola Classic continues at Richlands Bowl. This young man, Jamie Gore, who only qualified into the tournament through a win in the state final roll-off. Jamie Gore is currently leading Carl Bottomley by 10 pins, looking to make it a double.
Ooh. Didn't quite get the break that time like he did on that lane the last shot. A little bit high. It's so easy when the pressure's on to just, I don't trust the shot and just pull it up through the nose.
It's probably the big thing that they teach you in America is that you've got to go out and play your own game. Carl's a big turner of the ball. Jamie's not. He's got to go out and throw his own game because his own game's good enough.
Exactly.
Oh, well spared.
Perfect cover.
He's shown he can handle pressure too. He's had to come back in a couple of matches.
I can't get over. He just looks as cool as a cucumber. You can't see any nerves showing up in there except the occasional early shot. But his coverage of his spares is good. He's only had the one open frame this game. Spared the baby split now. Carl's come off 2 not so good frames. See what he can come back with. Oh, went light, looking for the ticket, but left the 7-pin. As he says, it was a start. Very deep, nearly into the middle arrow, and sending it out. Went light, but not quite knocking all 10 over. Very hard and very strong. The biggest difference we see between Carl's power game and the other boys is he doesn't use as much backswing. Whoa. Somebody in the crowd thought that was going to miss, including Carl.
Well, they're just not sure at the moment.
Well, he's playing that left-hand side and actually almost set up a wobble, started to straighten up, and he was just hoping and praying it was going to curve at the end to make sure he covered the spare.
The winner of this match, of course, advances to game 4 and takes on Fred Alsop, the 2nd seed in the tournament. Loser bows out, $1,800. Compliments of Goldpin and Coca-Cola.
How does it look? Yes! Great shot.
The crowd getting right behind the 2 bowlers. They want this one to go right down to the wire.
Well, so far they've done very, very well. The matches have been down to the wire, and Carl's just responded back with that solid strike. Very, very deep. All the wrist and leverage out of his legs. Solid.
Oh, dear me, that was close.
Oh, he's really pounding the headpin. He's punishing the headpin all the way through his matches. And you can't knock him from that. It's total attacking play. He's got nothing to lose. He's got everything to gain. Goes light. Unfortunately, the ball deflecting just a little bit too far to the right.
Here's his girlfriend.
One worried person at this stage.
Yeah. He's got to close this up.
Not a problem.
Does it safely.
Good spare.
And acknowledged by the crowd, the effort put in here by Jamie Gore, only 21 years of age. Hasn't had all that much exposure in the top ranks, but boy, he's acquitted himself well.
Well, he should be very, very proud of his performance in this particular tournament. He's come through as really unknown entity to most of the bowlers, and he has performed really well. Nobody can take that away from him. It's early. Yes! Great shot for the base frame.
That's the way to establish the lead into the 10th and final frame, getting encouragement from the crowd.
Nice and early on the lane, getting roll, and never looked like leaving any pins on that shot.
He really has struck excellently. Every strike he's had's always been flush in the pocket. He's just been playing great.
Exactly. He's not looking for anything more than what he knows his game's going to produce. Yes!
Oh, he willed that one.
Yes.
He knew he needed that, did Carl Bottomley.
He said please as that ball's going down. It felt good when it left his hand. And as we see that, giving it the leverage a little bit further, hit it a bit harder. Yes! And got the double.
You look at that shot again. Flush in the pocket.
Solid strike to give him the double and give him an advantage, just a very slight advantage.
We'll take a break. Carl Bottomley leading by 1 pin with the 10th and final frame to come. Will Jamie Gore continue his run? Find out in a moment. Bowling action continues here on Nine's Wide World of Sport. This young man is Carl Bottomley, striving for survival in the Goldpin Coca Cola Classic of 1991. His opponent is Jamie Gore. Bottomley leads by 1 pin, and we're into the 10th and final frame.
Now we come down to see who's got the mettle, who's got the strong mental game to play the shots. Oh, too far.
One of the more difficult spares with a sleeper in behind.
Well, he left it earlier on in the game, just giving it too much room, using the strength, but not able to get the side roll to get it to jump back in towards the 5 pin in the pocket. As we see here, cupped wrist, solid position at the foul line, but perhaps too much wrist and not enough fingers, and therefore getting the skid. Good cover.
Well executed. Perfect shot then. We'll get a bonus ball in this, the 10th frame.
Well, this one's definitely going to go down to the 10th frame. Carl strikes here.
He shoots 193.
And Jamie has to stay clean in the 10th frame, preferably with a spare or a strike. If he gets the first in the 10th, he's locked it right out.
And if he doesn't, he's got a spare, then strike to win by 1.
Exactly.
So we could have a tie here. At this stage, it's pretty likely.
And it has been tough going in games in the Stepladder final.
Ooh.
Might make it a little easier now for Jamie Gore.
Absolutely. 191 for Carl Bottomley.
Now he has to sit down, shakes his head at the score. Sits down now and waits for his opponent. And it's all up to Jamie Gore. And that's the attitude he's adopted throughout this tournament so far, Jeanette.
Well, I had a chat with him the other day, and he was saying that he's come out here and he said, well, he's determined to have fun and do the best job he can. As long as he enjoys the tournament, that's the bottom line. It's wide. Oh, now he's got the sleeper. Carl's covered it very easily. The both occasions he's had it. Jamie's left with it, and again, you see the finger.
Oh, look at the family.
God.
Are there any fingernails left?
I was just thinking the same thing. And of course, James had that 2-5 earlier and sent it to the right. So let's see if he can get it this time.
Looks good.
Oh, yes. What a precious shot.
Well, that's it. All he has to do, 7 count to draw, 8 count to win the game.
Oh, yeah, this is pressure at its best. So it's still not all over. One wayward shot and you're gone.
Well, there's his girlfriend sitting there.
They
Head
can't
down.
look.
They can't stand to look.
I think the crowd will tell us what's happened.
It's hit the head pin.
Oh, it's gone. It's a strike. What a way to finish. Oh, magnificent result. Look at this.
His mum's almost crying there with total relief.
It has been a fantastic performance. Congratulations to Jamie Gore. He advances to Game 4 in the Stepladder final of the 1991 Goldpin Coca Cola Classic. He takes on second seed Fred Alsop. Unfortunately for Carl Bottomley, he bows out and picks up $1,800 compliments of Goldpin Coca Cola.